Welcome to Hyperdash.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much for joining me. Today's guest is Harun. He is from Triangle Factory, one of the developers working on Hyperdash. Really excited to have this conversation because this game, I mean, it's just the buzz around it has been so huge. It's going to be coming out on Quest and PC VR this week, this Friday, right? Or do I have that wrong? Is it Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday.
It's
Exactly.
Thursday. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
awesome. I
24
just
hours.
yeah. I mean, it must. I mean, are you excited?
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy. I mean, we worked on this for a long time. I'm really looking forward what people have to say about it. And yeah, very excited.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. I guess take us back to the beginning. Kind of how did this all get started? Like, where did and I'd love to hear like what your influences for Hyperdash are, because it seems to be really original. While there's something familiar about it, like the arena shooter has gone through so many iterations since like going all the way back to like Unreal Tournament and like Quake. Like those games are a persistent part of mainstream gaming, but this feels like an evolution. I think that's what I find really interesting about it. So if you could just take us back to the beginning, tell us about the origins of the game, like the concept, how you guys developed it, and what are some of your influences?
Started with a smaller prototype that I actually created by myself in a few days, and I think it ran on an Oculus Go at first, where there were just some bots, a little arena, and you could dash or teleport already, and that was the first thing we had. And then we started to create a real prototype, and that was around the time where the Oculus Quest was announced. And it grew from there. I mean, we saw that it had potential. And yeah, we loved working on it, and we had the ability and time to work on it. And yeah, after, I would say, a year of development, we arrived on SideQuest. That was our first launch. That was a year ago, because yeah, we were 12 months on SideQuest.
The beginnings of this game kind of trickled through, and you went from one thing to another and kind of were building it up. When did it hit that this was like, okay, we're going to make this a real game?
So yeah, thinking back about those days, so there was still like a bit of a stigma to say about free locomotion, and all the talks back in the day used to be, you need to prevent motion sickness,
right?
And with teleporting and stuff like that. So that's where the original design came from, and it was actually called Triple Dash at first. So you could dash.
Interesting tidbit. Triple dash.
Yeah, exactly. And then we just continued developing it, and of course to go back to our influences. So most of the developers are hardcore gamers from back in the day. We all played Quake, Unreal Tournament. So those are definitely huge influences there. I mean, you can see it. We have a server browser, which is not really that mainstream anymore. We still like it.
No, yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, we too. So
reminds me of like Counter-Strike, like old Counter-Strike days.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, definitely Counter-Strike as well. So we hope that people notice that, and that's really, the core is there from those old school shooters.
Do you have a personal favorite from the old school?
I played Unreal Tournament a bit more, I would say.
Yeah, I can remember I had Unreal Tournament on PlayStation 2, and you could only play against bots.
Okay.
And I would throw on like, I don't know, a soundtrack. I think I was listening to like The Offspring or like really early Green Day.
And you know, there's some Time Splitters influence there, I would say as well.
Wow. Okay, that is one I was I wasn't sure I was going to hear from you, but I'm really glad that I did, because what a like time splitters was like, this is the weird thing about gaming. If you aren't like involved at a certain period of time, you're just gonna miss out on something. It's like I don't really
Yeah.
play like Dark Souls, for instance, so I feel like I'm just like I got to go back and spend a bunch of time to really get it. But like when a game is like when it's like who's gonna go back and experience a PlayStation 2 game?
Yeah.
Nobody,
Yeah.
right? So like Time Splitters 1, Time Splitters 2, like I was all about those games and like the map editor and like I remember the first one, the campaign was so weird, but so what inspired you about Time Split?
Maybe it's just the whole multiplayer part. Like you have the mutators in Hyperdash as well,
Right.
which is a way to. I mean, I guess Unreal Tournament had that as well. But yeah, it's more about fun. And I know that people play Hyperdash really competitively.
Yeah, there's one guy in our office who destroys all of us. It's honestly kind of frustrating. Shout out to Corey, by the way. It's honestly, he's too good, so he just like destroys us, and I'm like crying in my headset. I'm like, this is fun. I'm having fun.
Yeah, we once had a developer match against some Dash League players, so that's the competitive part aside of the game, and yeah, they just destroyed us.
That must have been like that must have been weird. But it's like, wait a minute, I invented this game. How can somebody be better than me?
Yeah, and it's crazy, and you know, it's also good that they are that good at the game because they give very valuable feedback about balancing and maybe some issues.
Like walk us through kind of like your thinking from a design point of view. It's like, you know, we need to balance the weapons and make the combinations. And this is another thing, is like dual wielding. You know, the different combinations feel really great. Now, is this something that just kind of came together like organically, or was there a lot of like time spent at the whiteboard like drawing this all out?
Well, yeah, definitely. And first, like full credit to the development team as well. They definitely are designers as well. They have a very good judgment of what works and what doesn't. So yeah, every new weapon, it definitely had a few iterations about fire rate, damage, stuff like that. We had it wrong for some weapons as well. I think the staple guns we call them, they were way too dangerous. And what was it? Yeah, the damage fall off, for example, it wasn't there at first. Yeah, it takes, I think, 3 months to kind of get a feeling about the weapon, if we did it right or not. And this is also really cool with the whole Discord community that we have. They
join the Discord, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, but how do you make the game still fun for somebody who's new, and then maybe they don't know who they're going up against in a server? You know, how do you keep that person from? You know, how do you make sure that person has a good time and just doesn't get clobbered?
Yeah. So that's definitely a challenge, I would say. And that's something that we are going to spend more time towards in the future. Because, I mean, at launch, we think there will be a healthy mix with new players joining the game. But yeah, definitely in one of the first updates, we will have to think about that. And there are some ideas on the table how to fix that, because I think that's somewhere that if you get killed in your first match too many times, you just drop the game forever.
So how do you, when you have a weapon that's overpowered, what do you do about it from a design perspective? So is it about adjusting the rate of fire, the reload speed, the magazine size? You know, what kind of goes into a weapon to really make it balanced, and how do you kind of course correct?
So yeah, it starts with what's the purpose of the weapon, I would say. Like, you can pick up a shield and you can protect yourself on the payload. And what could counter that? And then you have the rocket launcher, for example, that can redirect rockets in mid-air if you keep the trigger pressed with laser.
Yeah, it's like laser guided, yeah.
Yeah. So and it's not always about what the damage would do, but sometimes the location of the pickup as well, because
Mm.
you start pretty good weapons. Like the default pistols are very powerful, and some
Yeah.
people just
Sometimes
main
I
them.
just use, yeah, sometimes I main those.
Yeah. So, but I think the biggest problem with one of the weapons was a staple gun. It was just it shoots so fast and it dealt
Yeah.
too much damage.
Yeah.
But like the core of the weapon is that it shoots very fast in bursts, so we can't change that. So we had to change the weapon damage and fall off over
Right.
distance.
Yeah. One of the key features of the game is like dual wielding.
Mhm.
Was there ever a point? Was there ever a version of the game that had two-handed weapons? You know, either assault rifles or shotguns or stuff. Did you mess around with that stuff at all, and maybe decide, we kind of like the two guns, blazing kind of style?
We didn't like it.
Really?
Well, we didn't even try it because there were some
Okay.
other VR games, like in the time of the Vive. I think I don't know what other games I played. I think Pavlov is out for a while already, right?
Yeah.
And never liked.
That's definitely not a dual wielding game. You can't really dual wield in Pavlov.
It just
You can. You would just get killed.
Or just a two-handed weapon with two controllers. It just didn't feel right to me. And we decided against it for Hyperdash.
The game is really built around speed.
Mhm.
How did it pop up on the drawing board, and then how did it get into the game? That's what I'd really love to know.
So I'm happy that you say about the motion sickness that you did not get it.
Yeah, it's 0. I mean, but I have my VR legs. I mean, I work in VR, but there are still some. There's still, I'll hop into experience and it'll totally turn my stomach. But from the get go, I don't even need vignetting.
So it's really interesting, and I don't have the answer why, but we hear this quite often about the game, that people do get motion sick in different games, and while Hyperdash is super fast paced, and with the rail grinding, they did not get motion sick, or way less. And there aren't any comfort options except like smooth turning and stuff like that. Well, there are a lot of options, but we don't have any vignetting. And
it doesn't need it, weirdly.
Yeah. One thing that we do differently maybe is we have nothing attached to your head. So everything, your vision is just clear. There's no heads-up display or anything. Maybe that has something to do with it, although all the talks back in the day did say that you exactly had to do that. So I'm really not sure. I can't answer it. I'm just happy that
it just came together.
I can't remember where the Rail ID came from, but we just wanted to try it, and as like
was it inspired by Tony Hawk Pro Skater?
We definitely talked about Tony Hawk as soon as
I had a feeling.
Yeah, and I remember the first test map, which was just 2 blocks and 2 rails, and you could transfer and between the rails, and everybody just knew like, this we have to keep
the light bulb went off.
Yeah, exactly.
This is an interesting question, and I think one our listeners are going to be very interested. Is kind of what is the so the game is coming out. What is the roadmap? What is the future of Hyperdash going to look like? Are we talking more arenas, more weapons, more game modes? What is the plan for support for the game going into the future going to look like?
Well, definitely yes to everything. Like we want to make more content as well. Actually, I'm really looking forward to that the most. I'm excited about the launch, but I'm even more excited about the stuff that we have been working on during our QA process. To us, this is just the 1.0 of Hyperdash, and it's just the beginning. So we have a lot more coming. We have 2 new game modes ready with 2 new maps. We have new features planned as well. It's a long list, so
you guys have
Yeah.
plans. You guys have plans.
definitely, yeah.
That's great.
Uh,
But what do you think? What do you think Hyperdash's potential impact, could be on VR esports?
So, I think like esports, you can't force it. I really believe that it's in the hands of the community to do that and decide, what game comes in esports, so to say.
Yeah.
Um,
I think the Population One folks said the same thing. You know, they were like, we can't force it. It just has to happen.
exactly. Yeah.
What makes you really excited to get up and go to work on this thing? And just, what does Hyperdash mean to you? I mean, it's your first game.
It's definitely our first FPS that we created under Triangle Factory. It's our passion project, so to say, and it still is that. So I'm exactly like you say. I'm super happy to wake up and be able to work on the game with a great team that is also very passionate about the project. And yeah, we. I think the most fun is getting an update ready and then see the reaction of the players, because they get something new to play with, and that's what I love about it, honestly. And I want to create more content and cool new game modes that are fun to play. So it's about fun, and it's about the community that really likes to play the game as well, and seeing that reaction and reception.
Put up. I don't want to take too much of your time here. Tell people where they can get the game.
Yeah, so it's out for every VR headset, I want to say. So yeah, get it on Viveport, get it on Quest, on Rift, and get it on Steam.
All right, fantastic. And thank you again so much, Aaron. It's been really, really great talking to you. Like he said, Hyperdash is available now by the time that you are seeing this video. You can get it across all major platforms and stores, including Viveport Infinity. We hope we will see you there. And Aaron, thank you again so much. I really, really appreciate it. And congratulations on the launch. And I think you're going to have a lot of success. It's a great game.
Thank you so much. Yeah, happy to be here.
All right, awesome.